Hello guys and welcome back to Become a God, the first episode of this ladder season. Been focusing on will it work because you guys in the comments have been telling me how much you like to see these kind of fun janky decks being played. But for this week I have a few decks to try out, but I can't really put them in the will it work series because they've been tried and tested by other players. So for this week specifically we're going to look at blue-yellow decks. I have 3 blue-yellow decks to try out. 2 of them are of the same archetype, they're just different versions, and one of them is a control deck made by another player. So to start things off, we are going to begin with the control deck. This is Teddy's blue-yellow control deck. I played against this the other day and I got absolutely murdered. I was very impressed with the deck and the build. It is a lot of fun. You can make a lot of tokens, which is one of the blue-yellow strengths. And you can also use a lot of event synergy to empower Aurora's Disciple. So let's get into some matches and see how this deck performs. Alright guys, into our first match. We're going to keep the Battletoads to turn 2 play for us. It's very important. I quite like keeping Disciple as well. If you have a lot of events, you can start getting that roll in early. And against certain decks, they're not going to be able to deal with Disciple. Like red literally just has to throw damage at it until it dies, and that can be very inefficient sometimes, depending on what the red decks have available at the time. It also is going to be mono green of some sort. Maybe not. Maybe a green yellow. We're seeing a Spirit of Rebirth coming down here. Very interesting. All right, so let's take the I quite like keeping Explore actually for the Aurora's Disciple, because Aurora's Disciple will get a power up. But I am considering going Lake here off the Explore into the Battletoads. This will potentially move here, but I don't have the land requirements to make an Aurora Mythmaker play, so probably don't need to do it. I mean, I guess I might as well, because I want to double collect anyway. And I can just represent that threat of the Battletoad being there. And one thing that event decks do really well with is the fact if we get the Explore, it reduces the cost of the wave with the Windstorm Colossus, which is very, very good for us. So going second with these decks, with any kind of blue-yellow deck really that has event synergy, is always very good. We're going to see a Bone Collector come out. It's pretty good. There's just adding a bit of insurance to this Spirit of Rebirth. Now, I'm in an interesting decision now. Do I take a Lake in anticipation of jumping in here to take care of this, potentially with double neutrals? Do I take a Desert to set up potential Kaleem's Training? No, Kaleem's Training is enough to kill this on its own, but I'd rather get value out of the Aurora Mythmaker, which does slow down my land generation, and with this hand, not too bad right now. We don't have a lot of yellow cards. So let's take the Aurora line. Let's build towards that Mythmaker. I could even jump back and just make more Battletoads if I wanted to, just to play around removal. Might be worth it actually. It's not like Firestorm is an issue. And we will create space for Aurora to be played when we jump up and kill the Spirit of Rebirth. And now the Bone Collector will probably get some value from the death of this, maybe some more if we see some sacks on it. But at least, if, let's just say for argument's sake that my opponent doesn't play any sacks, I get to take this out. But speaking too soon, another Spirit of Rebirth showing up. Another Battletoads, very interesting. Alright, let's cause some trouble, guys. Let's get in there. Let's move these along. We'll take Aurora on this side. The one thing that has given me a bit of an advantage in this situation, I haven't revealed I am a yellow deck as well. I haven't needed to, and of course, you know, being able to go for 3 lakes to get this set up and then the double neutral play, I had to like not play any deserts, which does provide an information advantage in some ways. Last Nightmare on my Frog after it gained the value. It's pretty fantastic. But these cards are problems. And if this is green-yellow sacrifice, I'm going to need these Frogifies for later. So I don't really have the luxury of getting much done right now. I think we just pass and see what happens next. Now, bone collectors could be a problem for this deck to answer. Gonna take care of a frog here. Gets the power up off the wind soldier. It's not bad. It gets that aggressive forest. Going into another bone collector. Okay, I might have to frogify before these bone collectors get out of hand. Well, they're already out of hand, I must admit. I can maybe just tempo my opponent out before something like a bone collector becomes relevant. Now I can hold off my opponent with the Frogify. I can Frogify the more aggressive bone collector. I still get to collect off the well. That's pretty good. I could double neutral up here to double collect off the left hand side to set up an aggressive desert here for the Windstorm Colossus on the following turn. And then, you know, like I was saying, like, we don't have to wait for bone collect for the Soul Eaters. We can take a more tempo orientated game plan going forward, just using this left side as our avenue of aggression. So Frogify looks pretty good here. Just relieve that pressure. Get rid of this. The Spirit Rebirth is getting good value. There's not a lot we can do. Now I could set up a clear. No, I won't be able to do it. I don't think it's safe to continue developing creatures on the right hand side. My biggest problem right now is I have a ton of Faeria, but not enough cards to really support that much Faeria. Deepwood Stalker, just gonna eat my spider up. Delicious spider. Delicious frog, sorry. It's not even a spider. It's gonna kill Aurora? No, it's just gonna have a flash salmon sandwich. Just eat that up. Alright. Do I take it from in the wells? That's the question. I don't think I need to. I can just go straight for the face here. And I can stick an Outland Ranger in this spot. You can go up one, and then we can get Battletoads down. Oh, I'm a fool. I should have Battletoads first, obviously. I probably lost. Did I lose a Faeria? Yeah, I lost a Faeria with that play. But Last Nightmare comes down. That's a shame. Foolish mistake from me. Missing a Faeria. And now I just need to draw. I really just need to draw another Colossus. I even need to draw a Colossus or a Frogify. Frogify is not bad, actually. There's a Disciple. I want to draw cards, but my positioning's just really bad. I want to get this Disciple down. I think I could take value here. Because the value actually is pretty good, because it represents a clear on this. And I could just stick an Outland Ranger in front of my orb. Yeah, that seems alright. And now we've set up all our lands. I maybe made a mistake during land generation. The Flash Salmon's pretty good here. Still, I get to protect my face from potentially the 8 damage. Depends if there's another Deepwood Stalker. I feel like my land generation was pretty poor during this game. But mainly because I needed to line up that Aurora clear. Perhaps if the Last Nightmare didn't come down and I just killed a Bone Collector in a trade, I'd be in a much better situation. But I had to keep generating lands to apply pressure, and I was in a situation where I had so much Faeria that I just wanted to draw cards to answer my opponent. So maybe I shouldn't have been so aggressive down the left-hand side with land generation and gone for that card draw for better reactive play. But I felt like I needed to be proactive. You can't just sit back against Green Yellow Sack, because these cards snowball. They also have the Soul Eaters to worry about as well. We're probably going to see something come down here just to stop the bleeding. Crystal Flower and Last Nightmare. just gonna race me with the Bone Collector by the looks of it. Ugh, this doesn't look good. Crystal Flower and the Last Nightmare. That is very interesting. Soul Drain. Alright, I'm just gonna have to draw cards. Soul Drain's fine. Oh man, positioning's really bad here. I'd like to set up another Disciple, but that's not going to be an option. Move. We can Soul Drain this, I guess? Doesn't... I guess we can Soul Drain this. Let's not put all our eggs in one basket. So just going for lethal now. Hopefully the Disciple alone can do that, but I've just seen Crystal Flower, which tells me there's probably more Healing Song! Oh my goodness. I don't know what's happening now. I guess just on the clock. Another Healing Song! This is a very interesting build. I wasn't playing Orion, Crystal Flower, Nightmare, and Healing Song, because generally Green Out of the Sack doesn't run those, but it looks like our opponent here is trying some stuff out, and it's definitely working out in this matchup. So now I just need Frogify. Probably just Frogify. Yeah, Koopa likes to do this. She likes to stand on the chair. Very strange. Come on, you. Off you go. That's the Demon Wrangler. I'm just gonna play it out like this. Spell Will. Alright, let's take a... I guess we're gonna take a draw anyway, right? We need lethal this turn. Although I do need land, so I can push with the 2. How much do we have right now? So we have 11, 13. 13. Let's see what Spell Will gets. Let's see what Spell Will finds us. Enchant. Okay, that's cycles, and it does give me a power up. Interesting. Okay. Let's enchant this. Okay. All right. Well, can I trick anything? No, I can't trick anything. Let's see where this finds us. Soul Drain. 11, 15, 16, 17, 18. I need one more. So I'd need like one. I'd need one more. I think, yeah, it looks like I'm one off, right? Because I can Soul Drain. Oh, so close. So close. This is actually not too bad. Like, the trick wasn't that bad. I don't think I had the Faeria to play it. But yeah, that was unfortunate. I was one off lethal. There were probably some decisions along the ways that could have made that game better for myself, but I'm still learning the deck. I still, I've only played a couple of games with it, so I am learning as I go. So as you guys learn, I learn as well. That's how it works. But yeah, good game to start things off. I'm pretty content with how that turned out, considering my opponent had like double Last Nightmare and a Crystal Flower. But yeah, looks pretty good so far. Let's get into our next match. Alright guys, into our next match. I'll keep the Soul Drain. We have an Outland Ranger to start things off. I don't mind starting deserts. Frogify, not great. This is a land heavy hand in that respect. But yeah, we can start with the desert, get the Outland Ranger down, and start collecting. We don't need to Soul Drain anything. We can take a lake start building towards Frogify. Frogify might need to see play before the Soul Train, very much depending on what my opponent gets up to. It's going to be a desert. Ugh. Not a draw I want to see. I will campfire my Outland Ranger to play around Soul Drain from my opponent. Now he's seen this desert. I do need to keep this card alive. So I'll probably see Explore Desert, maybe into like a demon. No, it's going to be Smoke. Uh-oh. June Drake. That's a card I have not seen in a while. Alright. Just Lake and Pass. Hopefully the June Drake goes face so I can Frogify it and then I can clear it with the Outland Ranger. It's actually better for the June Drake to hit my Ranger unless my opponent has mobility into an aggressive desert. That's pretty good. This also puts the June Drake out of reach from my Outland Ranger, unfortunately. Not cool. Not happy about that. We do have Soul Drain, which is okay. I kind of have to Soul Drain at this point because I need to be able... Yeah, I kind of have to Soul Drain at this point because I need to be able to keep this alive from the Fanatic. My land placement is my biggest question. So if my opponent makes a desert here, he can attack from here and here. If I make a desert here, my opponent can still make a land here and attack. I don't think I can. I don't think it. I'm not sure if it matters. I can make a desert here to lock in. This kind of forces down one side. So let's go for the desert here and we'll Soul Drain. Do I tempo out a Windstorm Colossus? Maybe. I don't know. It's tough. I would like to Battletoads this turn, but I can't. Battletoads would be just fine. Yeah, let's do it. Now, I could have saved the Colossus to race my opponent, but I do feel this deck has some very good defensive options. And I'm not even sure how this matchup plays out. A lot of these games are going to be completely new experiences for me. I did play a couple of games. I did pretty well against Crackthorn. Yeah, I played against Crackthorn. I did pretty well against that, but we don't see much Crackthorn anymore. What else did I play against? I played against like a tricolor Gemshell deck. But my opponent had Frogifies and was able to deal with my Disciples very easily. Gonna +1 into the Nightmare. That's not bad. That's not bad value for us actually. Oh, that's a really good draw actually. Feels good. All right. Because now we can get our last lake down and get a double collector in this position. I can just, I don't have to build any lands now. The Flying Manta can just collect Faeria for us. Really good. June Drake's done work. He's made an aggressive land and he's punched us for 8 damage so far. My biggest concern right now is like Monk, Pray, follow a Demon Wrangler or something like that. There's just like lots of guys are like Monk, Pray, Demon Wrangler, Shaitan Demon. Like that's just too much. It's just too much for me to deal with at this point. 3 Faeria, 4 Faeria. Can't Demon unless there's like a Soul Pact involved. Goes for the double neutral. Going for board control. I'm gonna shift out the way. Wait, is that Soul Drain coming down on this guy? Wow, that's so odd. That was a very odd play. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I just get to rebuild. This is amazing. Feels good, guys. Now I can move Outland Ranger into a position where it can challenge a June Drake here or a Shaitan Demon here. If my opponent does decide to win Soldier, my opponent does need to make land. Which means no card draw this turn. It will be a 2 Faeria Wind Soldier from this well. Just kind of curious about this. I felt like my opponent had such a good aggressive start. Maybe the problem my opponent had right now had a lot of mobility in, say, the Fanatics and stuff. But didn't have a lot of follow-up to the Dune Drake, and the Outland Ranger was just going to clear it. But the reason I didn't like the clear on the Manta was mainly because it was in range of the second Manta. So it didn't quite line up. Alright, we're going to take double neutral. Because now we're in Tri-Collection Town. It's a good town to be in. Yep, Soul Drain you. Feels good. Oh wow, we are seizing the day here. We are taking control of this match. Frogify into Soul Drain is a 2-card combo to kill the Manta Rider. But wow, it just completely deals with this situation. Oh, maybe the move wasn't so good. Again, I guess it didn't matter because you could have just made a land here, but again, just forcing that land. So second Frogify might just seal the game for us going forward. So shame I can't Frogify and Aurora. So we'll take a draw. We'll jump this over, move this here, because then this could collect off this well on the follow-up. And we just ripped a Frogify off the top. So Frogify, you know, ripping Frogify off the top there, we didn't reveal that I still have another Frogify in hand. There's 2 Manta Riders being taken out so easily. It's really good. Alright, so what's the next play? I don't have a good Colossus path yet. I mean, I can go straight up the middle, actually. I'm gonna just double neutral into the Outland Ranger. I will just pass because I can. If an Outland Ranger isn't answered, I just get to Aurora it next turn and punch for 6. If my opponent does answer it, it does cost cards and Faeria, which will continue to relieve the pressure off me. So say Wind Soldier's quite clean, nice and clean. Just take this out. It's gonna go for the face instead. Wants to trigger the prayer. So paid 3 Faeria to get a 2 Faeria refund and a card draw. Wow. My opponent's having some really bad draws. And I'm just going to go in now. I can just play the aggressor. I should have drawn. I should have drawn first. That's bad play from me, guys. I'm not going to invest any campfires. I want my opponent to deal with this first. Because if this gets nightmared, I can just, you know, use the campfires on these 2 to push more damage. And there we have it. Get a win on the board. Defeat a much higher opponent as well, so getting that extra star as well. It all came down to that Dune Drake turn for me. The Dune Drake turn where it cleared out my Manta. It was so strange. I'd like to see, if you are watching this, like I'm not trying to be harsh or, you know, be critical of you. I'm just trying to, you know, figure out maybe that's what you had to do based on the strength of your hand, because you were kind of hitting me with Wind Soldiers and stuff and getting those prayers off. So I do understand you were maybe just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Because yellow, that yellow deck had Manta Riders. So maybe it wasn't a complete aggro deck. Maybe it was kind of a tempo-orientated deck instead. But good game regardless. It was nice. It was nice to have an experience versus a more aggressive opponent. But let's get into our next match and let's just see if we can get another win on the board. Alright guys, another match on the cards. Let's throw all these away. I want to find one of these boys. Need to get that Aurora's Disciple down. This is the heart of the deck. Like, the deck is very capable of doing other things. There's good removal options. It has the Colossus as a follow-up win condition. But what I really like about this deck is the fact that you can play this early in some matchups and it just sits there and it grows and it gets really out of hand very quickly. In this matchup, I doubt I'll have such luck. Now I'll be able to set it up at least. That's not going to change. I can get this going nice and early because it's probably going to be no neutral removal like punishment to take care of this disciple. And what are we going to see? We're going to see our forest. It's going to be a green rush. Rush has been very popular recently. That I do know. So let's go for the Battletoads. It does give us a power-up. And it also doesn't reveal we have a Outland Ranger. So we could have went for Outland Ranger on this side instead. But I'd rather give this a power-up through just an event that can generate more threats on the board. But it also hides the fact that we do have a +1/+1 bonus from the campfire, which will give this an additional +1/+1. So campfires on these are +2/+2 for one Faeria, which is a really good value. And by concealing the Outland Ranger, you know, we're holding our cards close to our chest. We don't want our opponent to be too aware of our tricks just yet. Battletoads also represents 4 power without relying on the campfire. Now we're probably going to see Verduran Force come down. Maybe a bear. Very interesting. Wasn't expecting this. All right, that's a very reasonable size threat that I can answer quite easily, and I will do so in just using this Emperor's Command. Yeah, Emperor's Command's pretty reasonable here. Just a nice clean answer. Again, hold all my cards to my chest. I will go for another Battletoads. We are playing against green, and as you can see, this guy here, ooh, he's becoming a big turtle. He's growing up really fast. Started out as a boy on turn 2. Already grown into a man. Look at him. 5/5, and that's just now. Like campfire, like I said, represents a +2/+2 for one Faeria. We have a Soul Drain. We can combo. It's gonna be a lake. Okay. Green, blue, rush. Is this an enchant build or just maybe? I know I've actually played against something that, like a green deck that ran a splash of blue. It played more mid-range. I went down this way instead. But it ran Yak Attack. You guys might remember from the video the Yak Attack, where we had a Yak Attack come at us and take me down to 1 life, and I still managed to win that game somehow. Even to this day, if that game comes to my mind, I'm just like, how did I win that one again? Goes for a 5/5. Okay. So Soul Drain Campfire, very powerful. Gonna buff it up. No respect for Frogify. You guys know me. Now I'm a frog master. That's just the truth of it. I'm just a master of the frog. Way of the frog. You know, I've studied all the martial arts. So if I need a Frogify, I get a Frogify. That's the truth. Yeah, let's just cover those. Let's just force my opponent to build specifically in this region, in reach of the disciple, the big boy. Who's growing up now. He's ready to fight. He's tired of waiting around. Look at him. He's even on fire. That's how quickly he's growing up. So Battletoads, you know, proving to be a very potent card in this matchup so far. Just lots of little guys jumping around, causing trouble. We see a land being developed here instead for a messenger. So it's gonna get powered. Oh, it's gonna get powered up again. Frogify, come to me. Nah, it's not a Frogify. But I can draw. Or I can double neutral to double collect. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we draw. Still can get a Frogify. Interesting. Okay. Ninja Toad's pretty good. So there's 4. We got 7. Throw another frog in it. And then we can just develop mantas. So 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a clear. I feel inclined to take it. Let's do it. Now it might seem like a little wasteful throwing all my frogs into this, but a board clear in this at this point is very powerful, especially since I can just set up mantas here anyway. And then we can pass. So I'm tri-collecting. I'm going into next turn tri-collecting. My opponent's only got 3 Faeria to work with. I have a 9/9 just sitting there waiting for that opportune moment to go in and just deal with a big green threat that might come down. Opponent goes for a draw. So obviously nothing to play this turn. And then we have it. Feels good. So now I just move this into the double collection position. Take a draw. Now we'll move this guy here. I had another line actually. I could have Kaleem's training this and moved it here. Then land on here on the following turn, shift and tide the move, and then zip in and push for 10. Well, 11 actually at that point. That looks pretty strong. Stick an Outland Ranger down. Let's give some backup to this little Manta, because I do want the Manta to collect here next turn. Yeah, I missed an opportunity there. I should have trained into this and moved it here to go for the shifting tide play. The set up 2-turn lethal. Oh, Ancient Herald would have blocked it anyway. So it still works out for me actually. That's pretty good. I can actually just move this here, train into this point, kill it, and then push for 4. This collects. It's pretty good. Let's take another draw. Let's see if what else we find. Another Disciple. It's pretty good. Let's get another one started. Zip. Let's push the 4 damage. Why not? I've got tons of Faeria to work with. We're even going to get more Battletoads down. So this can move here and push 2. I mean, my opponent might just throw the towel in. 3 Faeria. I've got a mountain of creatures on board. Little Ruin's Messenger's not going to be enough in this situation. I'm just going to throw in the towel. And that was a good game to show how impactful a Disciple can be once you build it up, and that's something that Teddy did against me when I first played against this deck. Just had these 2 Disciples sat next to its orb, and they were just building and building and building. I was just like, I only have 2 Frogifiers in deck. There's only so much I can do. But well played. Let's get into another match. Alright guys, another match on the cards. We're going for a blue start, so I don't mind throwing Soul Drain so much. We can try and find a Disciple. Oh, we picked up a training. That could come in handy, we'll see. Depends on our opponent's playing. This is double neutral. No, it's going to be a mountain. Okay, so mountains. So when we play against red, our goal is to just make sure that we can outpower our opponent. I'm going to have to campfire this if I'm going for this play. To make sure we overpower red with Disciples. Just make Disciples as difficult and as strong as possible, because like I said earlier on, red needs to invest a lot of removal into the Disciple. So the bigger the Disciple, the more cards your opponent's gonna use, the more Faeria they're gonna spend to get rid of the threat, because they can't leave it there. If they have to leave it there, it's just gonna keep growing and growing and growing, and it's gonna get to a point where Disciple can't be answered. Now this could be a dual color deck. This could have been red-blue. Red-blue have better answers generally just because they have access to Frogify, but mono-red could have some problems. Let's Spell World. Let's see if we find anything worth playing. Enchantress actually could be quite good, depending on the situation. Alright, let's get the Battletoads down. Don't mind if one gets Cypher's Raft, I guess. Just get out of hand now, right, and see what else. See what options my opponent has. I do want this collect on the right hand side. It is red-green, so maybe this started off. I was going to say maybe this started off as a as a cracked Thorn deck, but I doubt it. It is not looking like that anymore. All right, we can clear this out if we want to. And I feel we should be, just because it just gets value if we don't. So we can use the Battletoad. Go for the Outland Ranger. Campfire this guy. And get rid of that. So the Path to Paradise, although it did accelerate land generation, it didn't really offer much else. My frogs were going to die anyway. There's 2 light Outland Rangers just chilling. Starting a campfire. Getting warm. Mountain Axe Grind. Oh, Captain. Hello. Laws of Frogs. Give me Frogify! I am an evil person. I don't even mean to be evil. I think I just come across as evil. So miserable. I do lose my Outland Ranger, to be fair. It doesn't quite weigh up losing Cap 10, I suppose. I mean, it's an equal Faeria trade-off, but obviously Cap 10 offers a lot of perks, right? Just looking for the word there. And once again, another answer is found earlier on, to be fair. I might go for something a bit bulkier this turn, although Flight of Mantas does accelerate my land. Sorry, my Faeria. Let's go for the Ancient Herald, just because this is so vulnerable to removal. Like +1 double ciphers, not so good in this position. Takes a draw, and also Ancient Herald, you know, challenges a lot at this point. I could just zip this in, but I feel this is going to get Grand Shakered. So maybe I just take the Faeria. We can take a draw. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. We'll take the Faeria at this point. Let's get this Disciple going. I can double collect off here. So I'm playing around Grand Shaker. I'm just anticipating it, because if I went forward, I need a Ground Shaker, I just lose a Faeria. And dealing damage isn't that important right now. Once I stabilize, my chances of winning are so high anyway. There's a 4-3 Brigand. Okay. Ooh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. A free Faeria Colossus. I'll take it. Right. Okay, let's just clear this out now. I do give my opponent some Faeria to work with, which is fine. Start covering some lands as well, just make life difficult. Our entire goal right now is to get the Disciple up to a point where my opponent can't answer it, and also use the Disciple defensively, and then we'll use the Colossus aggressively. And I'll build towards that in the next 2 turns. Right. You know what? We can actually train in this up. That's really good. Yeah, let's do it. In we come. Let's play around Firestorm. Let's just be aware of it. It's a lot of damage at my opponent's orb right now. Our Disciple's still sitting strong, ready to defend if need be. Gonna see maybe a Grimguard. That's fine. If this doesn't get removed, it's an easy answer. Gift of Steel. Okay. Shamanic Dance. Just like, I need to protect myself. Too much stuff. It's not even that good, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not even that good. I guess the one good thing, this guy doesn't get the hit next turn. The Colossus does make things a little awkward. Do I take a draw? Yeah, I feel like I take a draw. So, just move him up a little bit. Why not? campfire this guy. Play around Cypher's Wrath. Play around Blazing Salamander. I don't think my opponent will be able to play a Blazing Salamander. I could have collected with the Herald, but I decided that 6 damage was more important. There we have it. That's a lot of damage. Bop. 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 Yeah, he's coming. Sit on 9 Faeria, 4 cards in hand. Just wait. For the inevitable. I'm curious to why my opponent might have changed the strategy. Was this the plan all along, going for the path to paradise to the rune-in? Probably, because you need the special land to get that going. But unfortunately, I had some good answers going into that, and that brings us up to a nice little win streak there at rank 4. Going strong. Let's get into our final game. See if we can get a 4-1 to conclude this episode. Alright guys, we have a run back for the final game. Just going to throw away Kaleem's training. Going to go down a blue start. Get the Battletoads going. Spell Will. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Alright, we have Outland Ranger to start off as well. We know there's a June Drake. We should go for the Campfire as well. And make sure that we don't get soul drained, but also we can challenge any June Drakes that come down. Now I'm just curious if he'll go for the same path as before. Going for the orb, playing aggressively. Is that our friend, the June Drake? No, it's a wisp. Okay. I hope I got the right play here. Just thinking about it. Now we can just block this with a Battletoads. I think that's fine. We don't want to give this anything to work with, but we will Spell Will to start things off just to see more frog fires. Oh my goodness. Manta Riders, come to me. You will be transformed and join the frog army. Unfortunately, when you join the frog army, you usually die. It's not a good deal. Not a good deal for them, good deal for me, because I don't want them to be around, but so many frog fires sitting in hand. Wavecrafter, actually not too bad of a pickup. It's just a solid body. Can be relevant with the Faeria gain as well. I used this... What was I playing? I was playing a game earlier today, and I managed to pull this off Spell Will, and it just held a double collection spot for me. I pushed aggressively in this position just because of my hand. My hand allowed me to play that way. I had like Aurora and I had like Frogifies and stuff. But the Wavecrafter from the Spell World, he just sat here and he just collected, and I spent all my Faeria because I kept drawing cards. It was really good. I was very impressed with it. What is this? Is this a Drake? Hello. Hello, Manta Rider, my old friend. Now, do I miss a Faeria in order to set up Flight of the Mantas? I feel like the answer is yes. Yeah, we'll pass. Okay. Now, Frogify... Maybe I should have considered Frogify just to stop any Flashwind shenanigans. Because a Flashwind can take value on a frog. Which is a little concerning, actually. Preemptive Frogify was probably the correct play there. Because it plays around Flashwind so well. Is that another desert? Yes, it is. Yeah, I can see a Flashwind play. I get punished for not going for the Frogify. Or maybe a Fanatic. We did see Fanatics before. Goes down for double collection. Bravery. Goes for the Wind Soldier. Okay. Goes for Fanatic. Takes value. No, doesn't take the value. Oh my goodness. We are in heaven, guys. Well, actually, it's not that good. Well, yeah, it is. It's pretty good. Don't kid myself. I can play Wavecrafter, which is even better. I do apologize for any background noise. Kupo is very adamant to come in the living room and bother me while I'm playing. So we may have an appearance from Kupo once again. She's a hard cat to contain. She's a strong, liberated cat that doesn't take any orders from humans. That's basically how she rolls. Alright, Wavecrafter. Giving us a lot of Faeria to work with, which is fine by me because I am just going to dump it. We're getting these Mantas down. I want to see Mantas. Let's go. We've got more Mantas to play next turn. The only problem is I'm giving my opponent Faeria to work with, but I can flood very easily. I do have 2 Frogifys in hand, 1 still in deck. I still have great answers to potential Manta Riders that show up. And even if this guy gets removed, I can still move the Manta to the right-hand side and start moving the double collection. And as you can see, my opponent has definitely slowed down. Going for the 5, and maybe... I don't know, maybe we'll see Desert Twister. Maybe we'll see... Yeah, maybe we'll see Desert Twister. Or we'll see Champions. This is actually just a Flyers list that plays quite aggressive. Kaleem's training. Alright. Let's take a draw. Okay, now things are a little awkward for us because we're going to lose all this Faeria. Yeah, it's a bit sad. I think I'll just go for a training on this. So it can at least move around a little bit. Then we'll go for another Manta here. I have 3 Frogifys in hand with nothing to Frogify. I'm just gonna... Yeah, that's it. I lose 2 Faeria. I do lose 2 Faeria, but for some reason I've drawn all these Frogifys. Who knows why. I guess I wanted them that bad. Here we go, Desert Twister. Teleport into a Wind Soldier. Go in face. Why? Why would you go face there? I don't get it. Strange. With no cards in hand as well. Again, I'm in this kind of weird position where I have 2... I have just a lot of reactive events, which can't do a lot with. So I'm going to lose 3 Faeria this turn. It's actually, the Wavecrafter is benefiting my opponent more than me at this point. So it's a double-edged sword. There's a 6/6, and I'm quad collecting. I can keep drawing, and hopefully I'll draw enough gas to use my Faeria next turn. Or my opponent plays stuff that's expensive, like the Manta Rider. That's my hope. I want to Frogify Manta Rider. Where are these Manta Riders? I want to Frogify them. Or I want to see champions. Play a champion. I want to Frogify that guy too. I want to Frogify everything. I want to Frogify the world. That's the goal. Little Fanatic here. Doesn't know what to do. Who does he kill? Righty or lefty? Not sure it matters, but we shall see. This is just another Wind Soldier face. Oh, that's something I can Frogify. That's good. That's what I want to see. Stuff I can Frogify. Alright. Let's take a draw. Soul Drain. Punch for 6. I want this in a position where it can attack next turn with Aurora. No, I'm just going to Soul Drain this. Just to use the Faeria. Oh, we're going to see. No, she's ran off. She's definitely considering jumping on the desk. She's not allowed. I'm looking at 12 damage next turn. It looks like a blocker might come down. Maybe not. I can Frogify it, jump up, and clear it at this point. So I can still push the 6 damage, actually. So I can double neutral. Or I can just, yeah, I can just double neutral, why not? I have enough lakes. Sorry. That's so grim, me having that many Frogifies to work with. It's pretty sad. And there we have it. I think that's just going to tie the game up for me. I don't see... Has 6 Faeria and 10, me being on 10 life as well. It's not going to be enough to pull back. And there we have it. Victory on the board 4-1 so far on that win streak. I don't want to switch over to my other blue-yellow decks for next episode. I want to keep playing this. Maybe, I don't know, I did say 3 decks. The problem is the 2 of the decks are the same archetype. One's just built by me, and the other is built by, well, the other is built by Superb Lizard. So I'll see how I feel going into the next episode. I might want to continue playing this just because it's doing so well. But yeah, that does conclude this episode. So we managed to wrap things up on a high, going 4-1 with Teddy's blue-yellow control deck. Fantastic piece of deck building that. I've really enjoyed playing this deck. It has great win conditions, it has great board control options, but it also does very well if you don't see Firestorm or Garadan, which are still very popular cards in the meta, but I was fortunate enough not to run into those cards, and you can see how that deck thrives without them being in play. But saying that, Aurora's Disciple is also a good card to play around that. But yeah, fantastic deck overall, very impressed with how it performed. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop that subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. You can check out Will It Work if you're interested in memes and jank and all sorts of cheeky deck building. Be sure to check out that series. We've had 2 episodes recently with 3-part specials, so that should fulfill all your needs for cards like Day of the Dragons and Magda. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Teddy's blue-yellow control.